Hello viewers, wherever you're watching us from, welcome to another edition of your weekly State of Affairs program, your flagship political program here on QTV. I'm your host, Aliou Cisse, and tonight we're having a very special State of Affairs program as we are joined by the President of the Republic and of course the leader of the National People's Party, His Excellency President Adama Barrow. Your Excellency, thank you so much for granting us this interview.
You are most welcome, Aliou.
To start with, it's just barely less than 6 months to the end of your first term in office. How do you describe the journey?
Aliou, first of all, I will thank you for granting me this interview. And I think the question is a very interesting question. The journey was not an easy one, Aliou, to be honest with you. Because after winning the election, we thought everything will be smooth. Because former president called me and congratulated me and accepted defeat and also praised our system, our electoral system. That it is fair, it is transparent, it is the best system. We are all happy, all Gambians, everybody celebrated, including myself. But after that call, we set up 2 teams to prepare for the transition. I think there was a date even set for me to meet with the former president. We are looking forward to it. But as we were communicating, we see that there were some difficulties that we were having in the process. Later, after 1 week, he made another statement rejecting the elections and saying that there will be a rerun. That was the turning point. That was a difficult point for the Gambia. That was a surprise to everybody. So that changed the whole situation. It became a very difficult transition. We are on my part. We believe that we won the elections. We should be given access. We should assume responsibility. And the other side is saying no. We have cancelled the elections. So this was a very difficult beginning for me. But it was an experience also. It was a challenge for me as a politician, as a young politician, a new politician. It was a challenge. But Ali, believe me, we are really convinced that we won the election and there is nothing that can change it. We are very strong, we are bold to say no. We won the election, and you as president, you can reject the election, but you cannot cancel the election. You don't have those powers. You are not the institution that will make such decisions. So there was a lot of push and pull, a lot of messages, a lot of rumors going around. People were coming to my house to congratulate me in their numbers. There were mixed feelings in the Gambia. But I can remember I made a very strong statement after his statement to confirm my victory and make strong points that I think him accepting defeat is very good for this country, for the democracy of this country moving forward. Let him accept defeat so that he can hand over peacefully. These were the words in my statement. So after that period, ECOWAS were involved to negotiate. The negotiations, I will say that ECOWAS didn't achieve what they wanted, And when I met the ECOWAS team, last team that was in the Gambia, when I met them, I told them, first time when you came to this country, you met Yaya Jammeh. one-to-one. It was not fair on me when you came for the first time. You met me with a group. You know, people are making different statements. I want to meet you this time. You know, one-to-one with you, tete-a-tete. I don't want anybody else. But my team, they were not aware of that. Okay. I used the diplomatic channel to contact Ellen Johnson. She was the chair. I said, I will want you people to give me that opportunity.
The then Liberian president.
Then Liberian president. So this time, I want to meet you one-to-one. I think I can explain my case better than anybody else. She approved it without anybody knowing. So when they were in their hotel room, myself and my team, the coalition team and everybody, we were all there together. Then they sent their protocol to say the president's request to meet president-elect only, but without their knowledge. But this was arranged. You know, diplomacy is about hypocrisy. Diplomacy is like that. So, well, this is president demanding for president-elect alone. Nobody will follow him. So, I was given that opportunity. That opportunity was the game changer. When I spoke to them, I explained to them what are the consequences and what have happened in this country and what we need moving forward. My words were very, very strong. I convinced them. Ellen Johnson told me, this message, I think you need to tell this message to the other presidents. And they are having a meeting in Mali. The best thing is, I think we should travel with you. This was not arranged. You know, people think that it was arranged. It was not arranged. So when he told me that, he said, I think it's better for you to travel to Mali. We are having this Francophonie meeting with the presidents. That will give you the opportunity to have a closed-door meeting with ECOWAS presidents and tell them your story. We didn't understand it this way. I think they need to know. I said, I'm ready. He said, well, we have to play our cards here. He said, because the vice president will be coming to see us at the airport. So traveling with you without their knowledge will put us in a funny position. What do we do? She said, wait, let me call the president. She called Jammeh. And she also used diplomacy. You know, diplomacy is what I told you. She used diplomatic language to call President Jammeh. Hello, Mr. President, how are you? Fine, we are still on these negotiations. We want peace for this country. We want at least for us to have a breakthrough. But I think it will be difficult for us to take decision here. But we want to go with President-elect to continue this negotiation with other presidents. We see how we solve this problem.
That was a night you flew out of the country.
Yes. Call the president, talk to him. President says no problem. There's no problem. So you see, this is how it happened. He said, with my plane, I have only 4 spaces in the plane. You and other 3, if you can choose. So when I came out of the meeting, I chose 3 people. I choose Ami Bojang. I choose Mai Fati, my personal friend. I said, he's my friend, so I think he can support me. I choose him. He's a lawyer. He's my friend. I think he can support. So I choose him also. Then I choose Lamin Cham. He was my personal assistant when I was campaigning. Auntie Ami was the one managing our media and all sort of my speeches, everything. He do most of the editing, you know. So I think I needed these people. This is about PR. This is how it happened. When I choose them, I told them we are ready. I'm going to pack my things. Then we go. And that's it.
And after all this, you left Mali, you flew to Senegal, from where you had your first one in.
Before you get to Senegal, flew to Mali. This is a very interesting story. I think Gambians need to know this. When we got to Mali, I was not part of the Francophone meeting, but head of states were there, ECOWAS head of state. During their break, they invited me, we had lunch and everything just to make it fast. Then they summoned a meeting, a closed door meeting. Myself and the head of states only in the house. Basically almost all ECOWAS head of states. They told me to explain the story. The Nigerian foreign minister was the one interpreting that day. So I told them everything that happened, how it transpired, how everything happened. The elections, the results, and everything. When I told them, I convinced them immediately. I can remember President Buhari. He said, if Jammeh want to challenge the sub-region, he is welcome. But I think he has friends in the house. I let them allow his friends to talk to him. It makes sense to him, so that we can solve this problem. Thank you. He left the hall.
And after all this, you flew back to the country to a heroic welcome. What were your expectations of the office as a president? Were they met or exceeded?
When I flew to Senegal, in Senegal also it was difficult because I lost my child, that is Habib. That was a very difficult time. It was in the middle of diplomacy. There were negotiations at the highest level. Everybody was involved. I was in and out of meetings, preparing to swear. This swearing also was a big problem, that I have to swear in the Gambian territory. The first plan was Senegal will occupy part of the Gambian territory, and helicopter will flew me somewhere and give my message, But later, they realized the Gambian embassy is in Dakar. That is a Gambian territory. So we agree, and I swear. After all that, it was a rousing welcome. Gambians came out in numbers to welcome me. My expectations were very, very high, because my thinking and my direction was to change the Gambia and to impact the life of the people. That was my main, objective for becoming a president. So my expectations were very, very high. After I assumed the responsibility of presidency, it was not easy. Sometimes when you are outside, the way you see things, and if you are inside, it's different. When you are inside, you face the reality. When you came in office, the office was congested. Every responsibility was in State House. My first job as president was to decongest the State House. Even after decongesting the State House, other institutions were writing us, still, our institutions are still with you. You haven't handed over those responsibilities. That was my first responsibility in office. It was so messy. The whole power was centered here. We relinquished all that to the sectors. That's the time we decongest here. That's the time we have peace. We have even time. Because I was in and out of meetings. Sometimes I have meetings up to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at night. New president, no experience. So it was very difficult.
And looking at your expectations, have they been met or exceeded?
I think so. I have met some of my expectations, but not all. Because there were a lot of challenges. When I came to office, our reserves were less than 1 month. Our import cover was less than 1 month when I came to office. Our debt to GDP was 120%. Treasury bills were at 23%. The economy was growing at between 1 to 1.5%, 2% at most. So this was the situation. It was a very difficult situation. I have a very bad starting. But my expectations, I think I have met some of them. I have met some of them because if you look at the projects that we were able to implement within this short period, how those projects have impacted on the life of the people, I think we have met some of the expectations. Electricity was erratic. We were able to stabilize electricity and expand electricity to the people. Today, our collection have increased by 100%. We are collecting about 500 million a month. We are now collecting 1 billion, more than 1 billion. So it has increased by 100% plus. Our debt to GDP used to be 120. Today, it is around 77. Our economic growth, we are growing at 6% plus. Treasury bills today is about 4%. Our economy today, our import cover, is about 6.7 months as we speak. I think this is a big achievement within a short period of time. Salary increment, it has impacted the life of the people. Allowances, transport allowance have increased by 200%. They used to get about $500. We increased it to 1,500. So we increased the income of the people. So I think we have met some of our expectations.
During your campaign, you made a lot of promises that you will come up with so many reforms, and the TRRC was among those, which was established to look at the human rights violations, alleged human rights violations committed under the former regime. What is your view on the TRRC?
The TRRC is a very important project. It's a very important project for Gambia. It is a very important project for our democracy. It is a very important project for our government and for the next government even. Because with the TRRC, Gambians, we are able to be informed. Without the TRRC, we will not have gotten those information. And information is power. Information is very important. People were able to know what was happening, how the government was run for 22 years. When the military were in power, until when they transitioned to a democratic government. And it was a long period. So I think the TRRC project is a very, very important project. And I think we have made achievements as far as the TRRC is concerned. Setting up the TRRC itself is very important. Because without setting up the TRRC, you will not have gotten to this level. So the TRRC is a very important project.
Can you tell us one memorable moment for you during the hearings?
Yeah, during the hearings, there are few, but I will name one. The one when I don't know whether it's Mr. Is it Kanye? When he was doing his testimony about how they killed Kurosisi. That was a moment that I will never forget. Because I never thought Gambian will go to that level.
That's Alaji Kanye.
Alaji Kanye. And I think there was no need, there was no cause to get to that length, killing Kurosisi. Because even if you have done something wrong, I think the military were very powerful. They would have arrested him, detained him, do anything. I think that is better than killing him. And I never thought Gambian can get to that level. I never thought Gambians can be, how do I call it, that wicked, to kill somebody in that way. I beaten him to death. No. That is a memorable moment that definitely, I was really shocked that day. And I was really disappointed. And I was amazed and surprised that Gambian can get to that level.
And getting to know all these things, what support has your government provided for the victims or intend to provide for the victims? We have
been supporting the victims. Because for them knowing the truth alone, establishing this institution, establishing this project, to make sure people know what happened. These were all rumors. Somebody have been killed, but it's because of the TRRC that the truth is coming out. And they say truth and reconciliation. People have reconciled among themselves. This is a big achievement. And we are provided with $50 million also. And we want to assure them also, we will continue to work with them in the interest of this country. But we cannot do that without knowing the truth. We want to know the truth. We want to get the recommendations first before we speculate that we will do this, we will do that. You do it only when you have the material in your hand. That's what we are waiting for. But let us, assuring them that there will be justice in this country.
And when you talk about justice, will your government make former President Jammeh to face justice?
We wait for the report. The report is not in my hand yet. We wait for the report. And it is not about the president. It is not about my decision. It's about the government's decision. It's about the Gambian people's decision. There was a court case against me with the National Assembly member.
Yakumba Jaita.
Yes. There was a decision in the court against me. It's not me per se. This is about processes. This is about government. This is about the law. I'm not above the law. If I was above the law, it would not have been that way. Huh, Mr. Cisse? I think people should be honest enough to see that. So, if we get the report, my cabinet will sit over it. Government will look at it. We have technicians who will advise us. That's the time we can make decision. And there will be a white paper that will be out. Then white paper will give us all the information that we want about what we do with the TRRC moving forward. But you know, people think that it is the president who makes decision. It's not the president, it's the government that makes decision. I just want to make this clear. So let us allow those institutions to do their job. And when we are coming, this was part of what we campaigned for. Strong institutions. And we will not have strong institutions if the president is not respecting those institutions. Like that case, if they make a judgment, I say we are not going to implement the judgment. We have the power to implement the judgment. If you say no, we are not going to do it. It has happened here before. Judgments were given, it was not implemented. But we want the institutions to dictate what you do in this country. I think it's good for me as president, it's good for this country, it's good for any future government. It's part of our reforms.
And of course, while the TRC was ongoing, we also had the CRC, the Constitutional Review Commission, which was instituted by your government to review the 1990 constitutions, and then we have seen that have failed. What is your view on this?
It didn't fail, Ali.
What's your view on this, on the CRC?
It didn't fail. You know, in a constitution, it is a process. And in that process, everybody has a stake in it. The president, the ministers, the ordinary people, the chiefs, everybody has a stake. Yourself, the journalists, you all have interest there because the constitution is talking about everybody. It's talking about journalists, it's talking about media, it's talking about the law, it's talking about a lot of things. So we all have interest. It is a matter of negotiations. Give and take until we agree. Because we want a constitution that will accommodate everybody. We want the constitution that will guarantee every Gambian, not the president alone. But people will look at the president only. If you look at it in that angle, we can make wrong judgments. This is about everybody. That's why people are debating about the constitution. Still, there is strong debate. People are against certain things in the constitution. But the constitution will not favor everybody. But that's where it comes, where we compromise. We disagree to agree until we have a document in our hand. When Jawara was in power, his first constitution was defeated. It took them how many years to get the constitution in place? But you know, because of this new democracy, everybody wants everything to happen now. It's not possible. It cannot happen that way. So the constitution is not dead. This constitution will be part of my legacy.
So you think there's a chance to...
Of course, there is. There is a chance. The constitution is not dead. we will sit down one day again. Tell me this president told me this. We will agree with this constitution, and we will vote for it one day. But we want, us to agree. Compromise certain things, and we agree and we move forward. It's the Gambia that is more important than any other individual. This constitution is not my constitution. It's the Gambian constitution. My presidency will finish, but the constitution will continue. There must be a confusion. Sure. So it is not for me. But people think that it is for president, it is for that. No. Maybe there are certain things that have affected the president. To me, that is secondary. It's the Gambian interest that is more important to me.
So what were the reservations by the executive on the draft?
Well, I think the executive, they have few reservations. Just ask Gambians. I also Gambia ask you. Even you, if I ask you have reservations. So we have few reservations. There are clauses that are targeting individuals. We don't want a constitution that will target an individual. I don't think those are good laws. They are very bad laws. And we are in the 21st century. We are talking about, how to call it, moving forward. Moving forward, how can we bring in draconian laws whereby you target individuals? Those are bad laws. Whereby threshold to remove a president is 50%. How can you say you remove a president 50%? And you remove a judge at the threshold of 75%? Is that possible? Presidents appoint the judge, and the judge to remove them is more difficult than removing the president? It's a joke. These are things that are in that document, and we need to look at them. It is not in the interest of the Gambia. It's not me. I'm an individual. The Gambian people are bigger than me. If it was me, we will not go for election. I think we are going to election on the 4th of December. If it is for me alone, we will not go for election. But this is about the Gambia. It's the Gambian people who will make decision. Whether I want it or whether I like it or not, it's the Gambian people who will make decision. But I promise you, we will have a new constitution.
Well, we're still looking at some of the reforms and promises that were made, and now we look at the Janneh Commission, which was also equally instituted by a government to look at the inquiry into the financial dealings of the former president, and then recommendations were prepared and submitted to you. What happened to these recommendations?
Yes, recommendations were made, and they were brought to us, submitted. We look at them. There is no commission of inquiries that government will approve all their recommendations 100%. It's not anywhere. Even the recommendation they made, we accepted about 75% of the recommendation. Even the commissioners themselves, they were surprised. They were very happy, they were celebrating that government have approved 75% of their recommendations. And we are implementing them. But it's a democracy. As you implement them, you have challenges. People are going to court now challenging this. There are certain people who are challenging certain issues that will affect the whole lot of the commission recommendations. And we cannot overrule that. We have to wait for the court processes to continue. So that's what is happening. We started implementing, but now things are going to the court. So we have to wait for the court process.
But here we have seen some people who were indicted by the commission, including your finance minister, who is still serving in your government. How do you justify that?
That's what I'm telling you. I said there are recommendations. There are other recommendations that we didn't implement. We look at them and we see what is good for this country. Moving forward. There are other recommendations against other institutions. And those institutions are my opposition. We said, no, it's not fair to them. Go and look at it. There are institutions that recommendations were against them. Institutions that are my opposition, part of my opposition. But we say, no, it's not fair. We will not implement them. That's why
it's not fair. Why?
As a government, as a team, team of advisors and everybody, we look at these things. We look at the interests of the Gambia. There are certain recommendations we feel that they are not in the best interest of this country. That's why we didn't implement those ones. There are many of them, 25% of them. We reject them. We feel that they are not in the best interest of this country. But in the interest of this country, interest of the Gambian people is more important. Sometimes because of we went through 22 years, everybody is like, this thing have to happen, this thing have to happen. It's not like that. It's not easy to run a government, Ali. There are a lot of recommendations in that document. But people are not looking at those. They are just looking at soft areas. You know, I think that the Minister of Finance is somebody maybe who is helping President, he is loyal to him. That's why he helped him. There are people who are my opposition, there are recommendations against them. We didn't implement the recommendation. There are people who are insulting me today. There are recommendations against them. We didn't implement them. I don't want to mention names. Or else I would have mentioned names. We would have dragged them to court. By this time, they would have been in prison. They are insulting me in this country. But it's not like that. And if you are head of state, you have to be tolerant. If you are a leader, you have to be tolerant. But hence, based on principle, we didn't put them in a white paper. I don't want to revise back to say because they are against me, I should take them to court. Or because it was in the recommendation, now they are my opposition, they are insulting me, I should revise the clock. Nah, I'm not vindictive. I don't think that way.
Quite interesting. Well, viewers, you reminded that you're watching State of Affairs here on QTV. I'm your host, Ali Osise. And tonight it's a special State of Affairs because we are glad to say we have the President of the Republic and, of course, the leader of the National People's Party, His Excellency President Barrow. We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, the discussion continues. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, we remind you that you're watching State of Affairs, your flagship political program here on QTV. I am your host, Ali Osise, and our guest tonight is the President of the Republic, His Excellency Barrow. It's more like we are trying to evaluate what has been happening, since you took over government in 2017. Let's now look at the security sector reform and security matters in the country. In 2019, you launched the security sector policy, which is meant to reform the security sector. How far has it gone?
I think, to me, I think we are doing very well. Because we took over a security sector that was really polluted. A security sector that needs reforms. But you cannot reform without having a guide. A security sector without a policy. We have the national security policy. After that policy, we have the security strategy. And we have the security reform strategy. And now we are doing the defense policy. These are all documents that you need to guide you in the process. This is a big achievement. There's a lot of consultation in getting these documents done. And we validated the documents moving forward. The defense, security, the defense policy, the process is on. It's not yet finished. But I can tell you, we have achieved a lot without even getting these documents in place. First, we audited the security sector. It is the first time in the history of this country that the security sector was audited to take account of the security unit of this country. And it has saved Gambia a lot of money. There are a lot of ghost workers. It's because of that audit. We are able to establish that. It's a big achievement. Profiling also. To know how did you come to the army. Looking at everybody's file. This is not a small job. A lot of people left the army because of profiling. These processes are on. And at the same time, training. You know how many people we have been training? And setting standards for promotion. You have to pass through an exams to be promoted. These are all happening. These are big successes as far as the security sector. The training of the state guard. Almost 90% of the state guard have been trained in Senegal. They have also gone there again for an advanced training again. So the processes are going on. The changes in the army today are part of our reforms. The leadership, there was a reshuffle in the leadership of the army. The issue of the medical doctors in the army. These are all part of our reforms that we have been doing. The police. And making so the military also are comfortable, providing them with their needs. Their food have changed. Their uniform. Today, you see every soldier, he looks smart. He provides them with good uniforms. Even with the peace missions. When I was coming, the military, the government used to take like almost 30% from their payments. When I came, I reduced that to 10%. First, if they come from peace mission, if they come back to this country, they struggle to get their money. That was my first challenge. When they came, they were supposed to be paid in dollars. And we were not having dollars. There was a lot of push and pull. It was a big tension, there was a standoff. The CDS came to me and told me this. I told him, if they have money, it is our responsibility to make sure we pay them. When we pay them in dollars, they will end up changing it to dollars. Let us negotiate with them. Let them go and ask for the dollar price in the market. Don't impose it on them. You are giving them official rate. They will not accept it because they know what is the local rate. Allow them to go to the market and ask for local rate. They went to the market and asked for local rate. We calculated their payment according to their own price. We paid them. CDS came and said, thank you. We are not thinking this way. Tell them, yes, me, I'm a businessman. You are administrators. You think just at that line when you talk about official only. But this is a situation whereby we need to address. But I told them now, to avoid such a situation, next contingents, go into agreement with them that you will be paying them in dollars. We change all the agreements into dollars. Now, you open your account before you leave this country. We pay you direct into your account. If you come here, you don't go to government. Straight away, you go to your account. These are all part of our reforms that we have been doing. No, but people will see just one thing. Reforms is we should remove all the soldiers, this and that, downsizing, this and that. This is the way they are thinking. We are not thinking that way. We want to train our people. We have to build their capacity. We have to enlighten them. And training is very important.
You talk about the issue of downsizing. At the launching in 2019, you said, and I quote, "This is a historic and an important event as it demonstrates my government's commitment to the transformation of our security sector and prepares us to take a more positive, appropriate, and decisive step towards securing our territory, our people, our welfare, and everything that belongs to us." What happened to those that were removed in the army? You said a profiling was done.
Yeah, profiling was done because we wanted people who have good records, people who have come through processes. Those are the people we wanted. We see that process didn't happen. So we said we have to rectify that. We have to correct that first before you talk about downsizing. You have to correct that. That is something that you can control. And in correcting that, that means things are in order. Then you think of training people. In that training, it will tell you Whom did we need and whom did you need? You didn't need. These are things that you do. These are processes that you follow. But people think that the president will announce that we are downsizing the army from 7,000 to 5,000. This is what they want to hear. They think this is the reforms. This is the way people are thinking. This is not reforms. We want quality, not quantity. And if you want quality, you have to train. And that's what we are doing. Moving forward. Then you have the people who are trained. Those are the people who can defend this country. For the people who are in the army, who don't know even what is their role, and those people defend this country. So to the integrity of this country. I mean, it's a very important institution, especially in a democracy. It's a very important institution moving forward. They are the defense of this country. They contribute to consolidate democracy in this country. If you have uninterrupted democracy, we have to train our security personnel to a level whereby they will know how to operate in a civilian administration.
And looking at the issue of still on the security, at the last ECOWAS summit in Accra, where you had joined other sub-regional leaders, we had the ECOWAS agreeing to extend the stay of the ECOMIC until after the election, with the possibility of modifying it into a police mission. Why do you think, these ECOMIC forces will continue to stay in the country when you have your army, your police, and other security apparatus?
It's not me alone. It is the entire government that think that we should maintain ECOWAS. And we should thank them enough for supporting this country. People are just forgetting. when Jammeh is not going, I think everybody was calling for international help. And ECOWAS came out to support this country. And this is historic. This is the first time that ECOWAS is intervening in a country in this way. It's the first time. So Gambia is a sample. They intervened because there was need. They intervened because we need a stabilizing force. We need a backup that will help to maintain peace and stability and make sure we have a smooth transition. In that transition, we continue to reform, we continue to train, moving forward. Here, we are not even having trained state guards who can man the state house. Now we are training them, even it's not enough yet. Still. We are still sort of men. We are still supposed to train more people. So those are the gaps they are filling for us. So I think we need them.
You talk about not having men who can man the state house, but the state house was more than secured for 20 years.
My friend, that's why we are talking about security reform. We are having over 2,000 soldiers here. We are having the junglers here. We are having how many generals? More than 10 generals instead of. Do you expect 10 generals? General Baji was the same rank with the CDS. This is the way you operate in a democratic state? It's not that. That's not what we want. That's what we are doing now. We want to train the people who are here. Train them to have advanced training. How to secure a state house. This is the seat of power. And we still need to train more.
You think our men can secure the state house?
I think so. With the training that they have it, now they have it advanced training. Recently, it was in the social media. They were in Senegal. They were trained in, I don't know how do they call it, advanced weapon and all sort of. They have their military terms for it. I don't know those terms. These are the people they are training. And at the same time, part of our reforms, we are also we are encouraging young officers. The commander here is a young officer, Seth Njai. He's very intelligent, very clever, highly educated. And they are trained, they have advanced training. And we still continue to train them. Even himself, Seth Njai, You are thinking of him going to understudy some other countries also, especially democratic countries, so that he can also educate himself to know how to handle the state house. So this is what we are doing. And at the same time, ECOWAS, Gambia is not paying nothing for ECOWAS. Why should we worry? They want to support us. They want to support our transition going forward. They are part of our training team. They are part of our security sector reform. I think some people are just, they have personal things. And this is not about President Barrow. This is what I want people to understand. This is not about President Barrow. This is about the Gambia. And I want the best for this country.
We have the National Assembly, I mean, the second arm of government, I mean, very critical as far as, the country is concerned. But why is it that they have no say in the extension of the
executive? This is about executive. This is not about National Assembly. When they were coming, it's not National Assembly that approved their coming here. It's not National Assembly. This is about executive. This is our government. You understand? And this is about government. This is about an international body. This is about ECOWAS. This is about protocols.
But don't you think they should also have a say in
the
extension of the economy?
I don't think they have a say in this. I don't think they have a say in this. We are working with the international body that will never violate the laws of this country. And I will never violate the laws of this country. It is not possible. If they were supposed to be part of it, we would have contacted them. But this is about national security. This is about the commander-in-chief. This is about stabilizing this country. The security of this country is my responsibility. It's my responsibility. And that's what I'm doing exactly. I'm not doing something else out of that. Gambian forces have been going in other countries for peace mission. In Liberia, Gambians were there for 12 years. Our director of immigration was in Liberia. 12 years. Gambia.
But you can compare the situation in Liberia at the time with Gambia. There is no war in the Gambia.
Yes, there is no war in the Gambia. But you know what was happening in the Gambia. The system was polluted. I'm telling you, well, I don't think I should get to that level. But I think the system was polluted. You are thinking of having junglers in the State House? Junglers in the State House? And they are military men? Were you expecting something like that?
Never.
And they were part of the State Guard. They can kill anybody. They can even kill the president.
Well, still on the security matters, I mean, what security agreement does the Gambia have with Senegal?
This is a tradition everywhere. Your neighbor, you have security agreement with them. Because our only country that we borders with is Senegal. If anybody should come into the Gambia, you have to pass through Senegal. So it is a must that we have to have a security treaty between Gambia and Senegal. You have to sign something. There must be rules and regulations. Cross-border, hot pursuit. These are things that are all security. So this is a tradition. Even recently, Guinea and Senegal, they have just signed from ECOWAS. Security. So this is very important. It's a tradition. It's our immediate neighbor. So that must be between us and Senegal. And there must be an agreement. If there is any issue of security, how do we help each other? How do we complete each other's efforts? If Gambia have a problem, Senegal will have a problem. If Senegal have a problem, Gambia will have a problem. How do we maintain that friendship? How do we complement each other as far as security is concerned? In doing that, there must be an agreement.
You talk about hotspot. Tell us more about this hotspot.
Hot pursuit.
Yeah.
Yes, normally when they pursue somebody from the other country and you enter another territory, there are rules and regulations. Here, I think they are saying about 5 kilometers. You can pursue somebody up to 5 kilometers. That is your limit. But normally, if you are doing the hot pursuit also, it's sometimes difficult to understand. But they said you should contact the other country. You should inform them. But if you are pursuing somebody, do you have time to, that's what I told them, do you have time to contact somebody? But that is the agreement. You can pursue somebody up to 5 kilometers.
Without notifying the other country.
It is allowed. It is allowed. You should notify everybody, but it is allowed that you can pursue 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers is your limitation. You cannot pass that. That means you have to stop. The other country have to take, not you now. But you can pursue within 5 kilometers and make an arrest. Then that's the time the other country will intervene and look at the laws. If it is our citizen, they have to hand over it to us. If it is their citizen, that's the time you negotiate how do you work on the process and hand over the person to the other country.
But it seems since the agreement was signed, it is only Senegal that is, doing this.
That's what you think?
Because we have seen reports.
You have seen in social media. It has happened in the Gambian side also. It has happened so many times. I may not mention it, but it has happened so many times. Gambians have pursued somebody inside Senegal. It has happened.
And now to a very important issue, accountability and transparency. You've always talked about this issue whenever you have an interview, whenever you have any meeting, you talk about the issue of accountability and transparency. How far is the anti-corruption bill that you had promised Gambians?
The anti-corruption bill? It's in the National Assembly. It has been there long. I think it's at their committee stage, I don't know. It is still there. We are waiting for them. It is there. Listen. Whatever we promise Gambia, I think we are we have approved a lot of bills. This government has submitted a lot of bills, because we are talking about institutions here. And I believe that if the institutions are strong, then I think we are good to go.
And are you surprised that the bill is still at the parliament?
Well, as I'm telling you, parliament processes are not easy, and we don't control them. And there are a lot of bills also. Definitely, they are very, very busy. They are overloaded because it's like we are doing a work of like 10 years work. That's what we are trying to do within a short period. And these are also very sensitive bills. You have to look at them thoroughly. We don't want to make mistakes also. I don't think National Assembly also want to make mistakes. As I just tell you, this is about the Gambia. But I think for sure at the end of the day, we all have the same mission. We all want good laws for this country. But it's not the anti-corruption bill alone. But there are other things that help us to control, corruption also. And today, now we have moved into the e-system. All payments are e now. Even per diem and all sort of is paid to people's accounts. Even pensioners are paid through, either mobile money or through an account. That is now happening. The consolidated fund, we have a single treasury. Your forestry, your justice, whatever you pay, it goes to consolidated account, one account. So that's why now it's very difficult. If your money happen to enter into consolidated fund, you are in trouble. It will take you, you will climb up and down before you get that money. So this is the way we control corruption.
The issue of transparency, some people are questioning why is President Barrow giving our vehicles to his party supporters without disclosing the source.
This is about party, this is not about government. Other political parties are here, they have their vehicles. Where are they getting their money? All parties are sponsored. Everywhere in the world. Even in America. Donald Trump is a billionaire. But he was sponsored by people. So in every politician in the world, I'm telling you, they are all sponsored. All over the world, whether it's the Western world, whether it's the what world, Eastern world, where. That's it, it's our sponsors. People are helping us. Locally here, you will be surprised. People want to support the party. And they are supporting the party. And sometimes we demand for them to help us in kind. They give us vehicles. They give us T-shirts. This is what is happening. But they are seeing President NPP's vehicles. But are they not seeing the other parties' vehicles? There are other parties who are having vehicles.
And because NPP has more vehicles than all of them.
And they are in the opposition. But they have brand new vehicles. New ones. They are driving in town. But because President Barrow NPP, their party leader is the president. Is the president who is controlling the national treasury. But it's not easy like that. National Treasury, they get money from there. Believe me, we even in the State House, we have challenges here. Basic things, sometimes we have problems. Water.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
State House? Water?
Yeah, State House, water. The supplying us water, our budget is finished, and what we are giving for the money is finished. We cannot get the money anywhere. Because they will tell you we have nowhere to enter it. Where do we enter it? It is your quota. And you have finished it. So where are we going to enter? Are you going to enter for the same month? So we have those problems here. Sometimes we have to dip in our pockets to go and buy water at the State House. So you think we don't have problems here? We have a lot of problems here.
Interesting.
You know? So this is governance. It's not easy. You know, what people see outside and what is inside is different. Outside, you know what you see the vehicle, you see the security, you see the red carpet, you know, that is the cover.
Let's now look at the issue of the Banjul project. I mean, in 2018, if I'm right, your government launched that major roads rehabilitation in Banjul. I mean, but there were questions as to why there was no open bidding for this project, which was awarded to Gay Construction.
You know, open bidding and single sourcing, they are all legal, depending on how you do it. Banjul project, we wanted to do the Banjul project, but we are not having money at all to do the Banjul project, to be honest with you. And we are very ambitious. We wanted to do it. A Gambian contractor came up with the idea of pre-financing. That is Hadim Guy. I will thank him again for the support he gave us. He came with pre-financing. And when he came to my office, what he told me, it was too good to believe. I will pre-finance and I accept you to pay me in Dalasi, and you will not give me guarantee. Who will do that for you in this world? No guarantee, no sovereign guarantee. You pay me in Dalasi and I pre-finance. I do it in 5 years, you pay me in 10 years. This was too good to believe. When he told me that, I had it. You have to be very, very serious. Do you think you can do this? You have the capacity to do that? He said, yes, he can do it. I said, no. I don't think you can do it. He said he can do it. I called my technicians. Ministry of Works, you know, how to call it, finance, and others. Secretary General, just sit down with this man. Let's listen to him. The idea might be crazy, or you might think it's too good, he cannot do it. Maybe. So we had a discussion with him, and we see that this man is very serious. He said he's ready, he wants to do it. This is the way we enter into that process. But I think he has proven himself beyond any reasonable doubt. And I think every reasonable Gambian knows very well that this is a very important project. It's a very, very good project.
Indeed, like you said, it's a very important project, but do you think the process was rightly done?
It was right. That's what I'm telling you. Whether it is tender, it's single source, the law accepts all these things. The process that was done was correct. It was legal. Because our Ministry of Justice, look at it. We don't do things that Ministry of Justice won't look at. Every small thing, it have to go to the Justice Ministry. Every small agreement, every small thing. And it passed through those processes all. Today now our partners are working with us in the Banjul project. First time they said no. But
Why?
later they accepted.
Why?
Huh?
Why
We
did
were
they
able
say
to
no?
convince them that it is justifiable. Gambia needs this project. And the process was legal. And what we were offered was too good to say no. Wow. In governance, people will be talking. But I know the project is a good project. And the project make a big impact in the life of the Banjulians. And it has changed the image of the Banjul, the Gambia itself. When the Germans came recently, when they came to visit me, they said, we have visited many capitals. But when we came to a capital, it's very nice. You see, it's very, very nice. Because they have seen Independent Drive. But if it was first time, They say, oh, I don't think these people are serious. So it is for the good of this country. Anyhow.
Now, let's look at some of the social issues. And I know you've been hearing this from your office here, people talking about the issue of the hike in prices, basic commodities. And what's your government doing about this price hike? Is it really a concern for Gambians?
I think since I came to power, this is part of my campaign to make sure prices are down, cost of living is down. This is my thinking. I thought that I can even bring the price of bag of rice to like $700, $750.
That was your intention.
But government is not in control of this. These have other factors that influence these kind of things. But the unfortunate side is the COVID, when COVID came, that changed everything, that affected the Gambia. But before COVID, the prices were coming down. When I was coming, rice was like 1,200. It have not even increased. If you look at what was the price of rice then, when I was coming to power, it's the same thing. But when I came to power, the price of rice was going down. There was rice that you can buy at $1,000. When I was coming to power, flour was like 1,400. I brought it down to 800. When I was coming to power, sugar was at 1,800. Go and look at the records. I brought it down. Sugar to 1,000, 1,100. Onions. There was time I brought onions down. We brought onions down to $250 in this country.
But this is not
because of COVID.
This is not reflected in the market price.
No, that's what I'm saying. When we came, this is what was happening. But after COVID, everything changed. But if you look at even it have changed, but still the prices are within the way we met it. Rice was around 1,200, 1,250, 1,300. It is still. Price is still that. Sugar was 1,800. Still is less than that. But we are doing everything possible. That's why tax on rice is now 0%. Because we want to reduce the price of rice. And also there are other taxes that we have reduced of recent. Just to make sure cost of living is down. We are doing everything possible. Even today, the information I got that prices are coming down. That's what the, Secretary to Cabinet have just informed me from the Ministry of Trade. But there are other factors. But the main objective is let Gambians be serious about agriculture. We can produce enough rice in this country. In that, we can control. But today, container prices have increased, cost of rice have increased, and at the same time, our port also have increased like by between 16 to 20%. There is congestion now at the port. It's because people have confidence in this country. People are spending their money. The transit trade, the export trade. I think business is working in this country. But every small thing, especially my opposition, they go make a lot of noise.
Yeah, the issue of price control. I mean, there seems to be no price control in the market. I mean,
you cannot control prices.
But the president,
you
government
cannot
can do
control
something.
prices. It was here before, but it didn't work. If you want to control prices, government must be involved in business. Because I am buying rice at this price, I'm buying it at this price. If you want me to control it and make it less than that price, is it possible? When Jawara time they were doing it, they have NTC here. They know how much they are buying rice. And they subsidize it. That's why it was working. But today you cannot control it. When you start to control it, they'll be hoarding. People will keep their commodities. It's better to have the rice than have shortage. When I was going to school, I remember around 81, 82, I used to go and queue for one bag of rice for the whole day. Sometimes that was part of what we were, the responsibility that we were given to us as students. Every weekend, they will tell all of us to go and queue. From our compound, sometimes 10 of us will go and queue so that we have 10 bags of rice. So it's better to have the stock.
So in the short term, what plan do you have to address this issue of price hike?
That's what I'm saying. In our own side, we are trying to reduce some of the taxes. That's what we are doing, to make so 10%. Now rice, you don't pay nothing. You just come and take your rice. That is the contribution of government. But our main thinking, our direction is to reduce price. One of it is to concentrate on agriculture. That's why we have the rice value chain. And it has started. For sure, before 2 years, 3 years, you will see the impact.
That's the $80 million project.
$80 million project, yes.
Let's now move on to the issue of environmental pollution. I mean, I know you have been following developments about the issue of the fish meal and then the sand mining here and there. What is your government doing to help address this issue? Because it is said to be causing so much damage.
Yes, it is causing a lot of noise. But I can tell you, before you establish such institutions here, before you establish such businesses, you pass through processes. You are given licenses. There is assessment, impact, environmental impact assessment. It's done. This is all done. You follow all these processes before you are given a license. Here and there, they can have some challenges. But I think overall, there are institutions that are responsible for this. There are institutions who go and look after this. I think people have been making noise. Even there is a matter that was in the court. But I think it was not established. Sometimes I think they exaggerate these things. But the institutions that are manning this, how to call it?
The issue of the environment.
Environment, the Ministry of Environment. I think they are doing very well, and I think they love this country. I think they make assessment. Even sometimes people come to complain to me because their assessment takes time. Sometimes they get frustrated. But I told them because they are doing their work. They are the technicians. You have to give them time. Before you build a petrol station here, there must be an assessment that they do. You have to follow that. People have been having those challenges here. Before you start mining sand, you have to pass through that. You have to be given a certificate. So I think that institution is doing a good job, because that's why people are coming to complain that, well, it is taking time. I cannot start my work because the NEA, this and that. Yes. So we have to allow them to do their job. If they are not doing that, then nobody would have complained. But because they are doing their job, they are following processes, they look at it, they are the technicians before they give you certificate. And if they don't give you certificate, you don't operate. And if you are operating, you are not doing the right thing, they cancel. I have seen somebody whose license that was cancelled. Came to State House to complain. Well, we find out his license was cancelled because he was not cooperating.
But why are they coming to State House to complain?
No, my friend, the president, his job is to monitor what is happening. I'm very sensitive to it. People come and complain here about ID card. Wow. Because they are not given ID card. And I have seen people who are Gambians and we are rejected. We intervene. So these things happen. They get to a point whereby their problem cannot be solved. So president is part of that. My job is monitoring, to monitor what is happening. So when those informations come to me, I'm interested. I'm a grassroots president, and I don't want people to be taking advantage of people. So that's why I always have interest in such things. These are small things, but they are very important. And I involve myself in it. I call to find out. I can summon institutions to come to my office for those kind of things. Sometimes I've organized meetings here, summons the institutions, summons the person that is affected, being Secretary General, we all sit down, we discuss it, and we have solved many problems. That is part of my job. You don't even know those kind of things. Those kind of things can cause a lot of problems for a country. The Tunisian issue, it was caused by a fruit seller. They took advantage of him. How did it end up? So you don't ignore such things. There was a Gambian who was rejected. He's in the university. One of his parents is Gambian, and his father is foreign. He was rejected, and he even paid, but he was rejected. He tried everything. He got somebody who's close to me. I told them, I want evidence. When they brought the evidence for me, it was very clear. I contacted the institution. And when I saw them, they accepted that this is a mistake on their side. I think that officer was even transferred and demoted. Well, it looks like he don't know what he was doing, or he have personal things. These things can happen.
And were you surprised that such is happening? Were you surprised that such is happening?
Well, I will not say I am surprised, but I was disappointed that such things are happening. If you are a professional and you sit there, I think you should know more than the president. Because that is your area. You should be the one advising the president. But such things can happen. These are minor issues sometimes, but they need to be corrected. They need to be addressed. But if you say, I'm president, because of these are small things, I should not address it, those small things can be big things.
And those small things certainly include the issue of land dispute that is very prevalent in Gambia right now. What do you think is responsible?
Well, land dispute. Land is a problem everywhere in the world. Not Gambia alone, everywhere. Land is a big problem. It's a big issue. And at the same time, I think the demand for land is very high. And in anything that you are the demand and supply, when the demand is higher than supply, there is always a problem. But I think there were no laws that are governing, clear laws that were governing land issues in this country. Everybody was just involved doing his own thing. Now we want to regulate this. I think the processes are on. We want to make sure we have documents, we have rules and regulations, that will regulate this with estate agents and all sort of. We want to regulate all these things. And also we want to go into the issue of land auditing, to know exactly what land we have, where the problems are. We have gone far with that, to see how we address them. I think former government was not doing very well. And I think also former president also was involved in land business, So these are issues that it's a complex issue. It's a very difficult issue. But I think there is no problem without a solution. But land is a problem everywhere in the world.
Security. I mean, many say your government has not provided enough security for Gambians. We have seen so many, attacks here and there, robbery, rape, and all that. How do you respond to this?
Well, security is everybody's business. It's not government alone. Me and you, everybody's business to make sure security. Because the security cannot work in isolation. They work on information. They have to be given information. I think we should also take that kind of responsibility. And at the same time, a lot of people will be talking about security, but sometimes it's not fair because they don't call the experts to come and explain. They don't know the statistics. Because if you look at the statistics are not saying that. Last week, we got 80-something cases countrywide for a week. The week before that, we got 77 cases. But people are not looking at the statistics. You just see one case and you make noise about it. But you look at the statistics and compare what is happening. And some of these also are social issues, domestic violence. Domestic violence are very difficult to police. Very, very difficult. You are in your house, you fight with your wife, this and that. These are very difficult to police. Family issues, village. It's very difficult, domestic violence. I think domestic violence contribute a lot to the crimes that are happening in this country. We accept that there are issues with security, but I think we are trying to address them. Today we have 2 teams, up to 3. The zero crime,
Operation Zero Crime,
Restore Sanity. This also going on, the anti-crime. They are all working together, and we are putting a lot of resources in that to make sure that people are secure in this country. I want, if everybody is going to bed, everybody sleep in peace. That's what we want in this country. And we are trying to do that. We cannot be perfect. Even in the Western world, there is crime. There is crime in America. There is crime everywhere. And also, we have to look at our population. Our population is also increasing. As our population increases, obviously these things will happen. But we are committed to make sure there is zero crime in this country. We want to put a lot of resources, but also our resources are limited. We don't have enough vehicles, we don't have enough gadgets. Not that we don't want to provide them, but we don't have the resources. We don't have the resources. We don't have the resources. Even the numbers also, we find it very, very difficult because there was an embargo, 4 years. We were not able to recruit because of the security sector reform. We are trying to correct things that have also affected us. But with all this, with the limited resources, we are doing our best because security is number one. Without security, we cannot do anything. Without security, we cannot develop this country. Without security, we cannot go to work. We cannot even conduct this interview without security.
Talking about issue of resources, what are you talking about here? Mobility or what?
Yeah, when you say resources, we have mobility, and at the same time, gadgets, because now we are in the advanced world now. We need security instruments, gadgets, to make sure the police are secure themselves before you can secure the country. Yes. So these are things that we need.
Will you perhaps...
If you want to dress a police officer, you know how many thousands you spend? You want to dress a police officer complete with all the security gadgets? It's in thousands.
Will you perhaps, out of generosity, perhaps donate some pickups of NPP to the security?
These are in the name of NPP. Register in the name of NPP. There is not the president who will decide to say, give them to, let me give them to the security. That is the party.
We have a lot of vehicles nowadays.
People are saying a lot. Maybe you see one vehicle crisscrossing twice, 3 times, and then you count it 3 times, maybe. We don't have that much vehicles. We don't have even enough vehicles we wanted. But we are still seeking for donation. People who are supporting NPP, people who think NPP should continue, they should support NPP. We are still seeking donation from them to help NPP.
And that now leads me to a very important issue. 2021 is a very crucial year for the Gambia, election year. Already we have 18 registered political parties, including your party. Independent candidates are coming up every day. I mean, you are seeking a re-election. Mr. President, why do you think Gambians should trust to re-elect you in December after you have changed your mind from the initial 3 years to 5 years and now second term?
It's not even changing my mind. I didn't change my mind. I think 3 years, there was a condition attached to 3 years. But people try to forget about those conditions. We wanted to do a lot of things within the 3 years when we were outside. That's what we thought. But we find out that it is impossible. These reforms we are talking about, we cannot do it in 3 years. The Constitution, we cannot do it in 3 years. The TRRC, we cannot do it in 3 years. So these were the things that we are attached. So you want us to abandon that and just go because other people want to be president? Or you want to go for elections? And at the same time, I think even the arrangement in the first place was wrong because it was a very hasty thing that we did. Because you are saying president should resign and conduct elections. If president resigns, it's finished, he's not president anymore. How can he conduct elections? Can I conduct elections after resigning as president? It's not possible. And even with that arrangement, the moment I leave office, my vice president is not affected. My vice president can continue and contest elections. He's not affected. And in this process also, I think it should have gone with the National Assembly, the council, the chairman, councillors. Everybody should have been part of that transition. Everybody should have been gone. But they just targeting one person, that is the president. National Assembly members should stay. They are not part of that transition. It's part of the agreement. So I think at the initial stage, it was a hasty arrangement. It was not well organized. That's what happened. But moving forward, that is all history now. I think Gambians should trust me to elect me on the 4th of December for many reasons.
What are those reasons?
The peace and stability in this country, the environment, the democratic environment, the freedom that I've given to people. I think that is enough. to justify my re-election. That is enough. The projects I did more than 600 to 700 kilometers of roads compared to 50 years. 50 years, they were able to do 800 kilometers only for 50 years. I did it in 4 years, and I'm still doing it. Electricity. I'm going to launch universal access. Before 2025, every Gambian will have electricity. It's huge, it's big. We stabilize electricity this month. The salary increment, you will not see it anywhere. Sometimes if I tell my president, my colleagues, they don't believe it. I told them, find out. 50% increment, salary increment. You know 50% what 50% is? Across the board. 100% to pensioners. This is a big achievement for my government. And the trust and the confidence that the international community have in Gambia today. From less than 1 month import cover to 6.7 months. You know what is the international standard? 3 months. 6.7%. 7 months, 6.7 months. From 23%, treasury bills, to 4%. Banks were lending at 30%, now between 15, 16, 17%. Collection have increased by 100%. Local funding of projects is record for me. I'm doing nearly 300 kilometers local money. So I think it's justifiable for me to be re-elected. I think people should trust me to re-elect me for another 5 years.
Any possibility
and
of
I think we will do a lot if we are re-elected. Because for 2 things, it's important for us to be re-elected. For stability, for continuity. I think it's important. So the next question is?
Yes, the question is relating, as I said earlier on, we have so many political parties acting as we speak. Any possibility of forming a coalition? Perhaps APRC?
Why single out APRC?
Well, just APRC or UDP.
Well, if you said forming coalition with any other political party, I agree with that. But don't single out APRC.
Okay.
I think we are open to all political parties. I'm the head of state. I want to work with every Gambian. So we are open. We are already in alliance with NRP, NCP, PPP, GPDP, plus NPP. We are together. So the window is open, the door is open. We want to work with everybody. You want everybody's ideas. All of them, they have ideas.
So the window transfer is
open. We put our ideas together, you come together. When we are together, we are strong. We become a force. And we make a huge difference for this country. We build more bridges. I didn't even mention the bridges I built. These bridges will serve this country for 100 years. You know, when I am gone, still these bridges will be here for Gambians to enjoy it. The ring road in Basse, that is my biggest achievement, I'm telling you. The ring road. Where you cross from the bridge, Basse, you cross, you go Yerobawal, the road Yerobawal, Basse, you go to the Laminkoto Pasamas, then you go to the bridge Fatoto, you cross from Laminkoto to Fatoto, then Fatoto back to Basse. That is the ring road. This is a big achievement. To me, that is even enough. Not talking about Banjul. And we want to repeat the same thing in Serekunda, in phases. I promise you. My next move is Serekunda. I have a big heart. And I think nothing is impossible because there is, we are in the 21st century. There is the idea of innovative financing. This is what we are using to do things. And I think it's a clever way of doing things. It's a smart system.
The issue of the diaspora, I mean, these are people that you have really praised when you came in newly for their contribution to the change in 2017. But we have seen they are not voting in this upcoming election. Are you disappointed?
I am disappointed. Definitely. I wanted the diaspora to be part of this election. Unfortunately, as I said, we have a lot on our plate. We are doing a lot part of our reforms. And part of that, it becomes very, very difficult for us to register the diaspora and for them to be part of this election. But I think going forward, we should all come together and think of how we organize that so that the diaspora will be part of our elections. I think the process was a little bit difficult and we all wanted it, but we didn't have the idea how to do it. This is where we have challenges because the diaspora is all over the world. How even to select, which country. And that is also becoming a little bit difficult to look at. So I think we have to think and look at all these things, to make sure next time the diaspora are part of our election process. But we invite all of them to come Gambia register and come and vote. We want all of them to come and vote, definitely.
Is it true that your government wasn't keen about them voting because perhaps you don't have that much support base in the diaspora?
This is not about government. This is not about Barrow. This is not about the government alone. This is about everybody. We are all discussing about this. We are in it. We have never opposed diaspora voting. Never. You will not see it in record anywhere. That my minister said, no, we don't want diaspora voting. It's not possible. We are all supporting diaspora voting. But unfortunately, there are things that you support. Sometimes you have shortcomings. You cannot achieve all at the same time. It takes time. So this is part of our democracy. It's part of the process we are doing. Democracy is difficult because anything you do, you have to follow processes. And people agree to disagree on certain things. But we are really we are really part of the people who support the diaspora voting.
I mean, you used to have this regular joint press conference with journalists. I know you will say, but people are asking, why did you just decide to stop that press conference, joint press conference with the media?
I didn't stop it. Maybe I think the best person to answer that question is the director of press. You should ask her that question. Yeah. Really, and I think it was a good thing that we are doing, having this press conference. I think we resumed doing it, but we are really engaged in a lot of things. And sometimes moving forward, we have to organize ourselves. I think the way we are organizing the press conference also, it was not well organized, I think. Sometimes people come with agendas and all sort of. Now we are trying to make sure that we organize ourselves, so that we have genuine people who will come, ask genuine questions in the interest of this country. I think that's important. But I think the best person to contact for that is Auntie Ami. Auntie Ami is the one who is responsible.
Well, we hope this is brought back because it's important for the media to have that regular, direct interface with you. I mean, youth and sports, I know Gambia is still celebrating after seeing the Gambia qualify to its maiden AFCON tournament, even though we know the last game met you at Mankamakunda and we had you live on QTV. I mean, what plans does your government has to build on such success as the team prepares for the upcoming tournament in Cameroon?
Yes, I think since we came to power, we have always been committed to sports in this country, sports in general, in this country, not football alone. That's why we did everything possible, innovative finances to have resources, especially with the GSM companies, that we are getting some money from, them. So this is helping the sports in this country. And we still continue to collect this money for sports. And for sure, Gambia qualifying for the first time. I think this is very, very, very important for Gambia. We will do everything possible to make sure Gambia will be there, and we will provide the resources. But not government alone. We want even the private sector. I will even discuss the minister so that we will ask for every Gambian. If every Gambian can even give $100, I think that means you are contributing to national duty. And national duty is everybody's responsibility. But I want to assure you that definitely we are prepared for it, and we are gathering money to support the team, to make sure they travel to Cameroon, and to be part of the competition.
Quite reassuring. We are approaching to the end of this interview. Just look at your legacy, Mr. President. What would you say was your biggest success in your this first term in office?
My biggest success is my projects. My projects are my biggest success. They are visible for everybody to see. And I see my projects, electricity, the roads, the bridges, you name it. The projects that I did, I think these are my biggest achievement as president. I think it will go a long way for them to be part of my legacy. Even if I am gone, people will talk about these projects. And I think these projects also have impact the life of the Gambian people. A big impact in improving the life of the Gambian people. Because now you can travel from the south, you can travel from the north, within 4 hours, 5 hours, you are at the other end of the Gambia. So I think these are very, very important for communication, for health, for trade, and all sort of. It is the best way to access each other, access roads, communication. I think these are part of my projects that, as a government, as president, these are part of my success stories, I think so.
Do you have regrets over things you wish you had done but couldn't or didn't do?
Yes, we have few. Because definitely, I've always been talking about it. I wanted to provide adequate infrastructure for the security forces. I always tell them that is part of what I have failed. But I have tried. But there were a lot of challenges. But we have started with Farafenye. We are building a huge building that will accommodate over 100 soldiers. The building is about 70 meters long. We are building that. And next time, I will make sure I provide infrastructure for the security so that we will accommodate them comfortably. I think this is areas that I have failed. Definitely. I admit that that is my regret. I wanted to make sure that the security forces are comfortable in this country. And infrastructure is key. Provide them with enough vehicles and things that they need to secure this country. But we are committed. The political will is 100% plus to make sure we support our men in uniform. They are doing a very, very good job. They are securing this country. If we are sleeping, they are the ones who are securing us, life and property. So I think they need support. Definitely, that is part of my regrets as president.
Any final message to the Gambians?
Final message is let us maintain peace in this country. We have no other country. The only country we have in this world is Gambia. Let us make sure we maintain peace in this country. Peace and stability of this country is important for us. For our democracy, it is very good for us to have peace in this country. Without peace, we cannot do much in this country. So I'm calling on every Gambian to make sure we maintain peace and stability. That is the baseline, that is the foundation of every country moving forward. That is the best way we can build a strong foundation of democracy moving forward. We are not enemies, we are just rivals. But to maintain peace and stability, the security of this country should be everybody's business. So I'm calling on every Gambian to plead peace in this country.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time. It was a pleasure having you. Well, viewers, with that, we come to the end of this special State of Affairs program with the President of the Republic and leader of the National People's Party, His Excellency Adam Barrow. You have heard a lot from him as far as his term in office is concerned. As we said, it's just less than 6 months before the end of his first time in office, and it was really a great pleasure to have him on the State of Affairs. On behalf of the production team, the cameramen, and everybody at QTV, we thank you so much for watching. You can also watch the broadcast, the repeat of this broadcast on Sunday at 10 a.m.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.